We are warriors. We are champions. We are gods. Once again, I opened the Bible I took from the dying priest, seeking to make sense of this so-called modern nation. More importantly, I use it to recalibrate my perception. I have explored many ancient texts, but this codex, especially the book of Matthew, has always held a particular allure for me. Its account of Jesus is fascinating, to say the least. I offer honor to a man of the God force, and the least I can do is put his teachings to use. Throughout the centuries, I have harnessed Jesus' teachings to influence reality. I must admit, one of my greatest shifts in perspective came from studying the account of Jesus in Matthew. It amplified me once before, and now, as I revisit the core principles that shaped my path, I delve back into the book of Matthew, searching for yet another moment of transformation and empowerment. In Matthew 8:18-22, Jesus presents a challenge that strikes deep, a challenge not just to his followers of the time, but to anyone who seeks to understand what it means to truly live. These verses reveal not just the cost of discipleship, but the stark reality of life versus death, of consciousness versus mere existence. As I think about Jesus' words, I'm reminded of the moments when I've felt the weight of living in a world that doesn't truly live. When Jesus saw the crowd, he knew they followed him for reasons that had little to do with understanding his message. They were drawn by miracles, by the spectacle of his presence, but how many of them understood the cost of what he was offering? One of the teachers of religious law approached him, declaring his willingness to follow Jesus anywhere. But Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, replied with a truth that resonates deeply. Foxes have dens to live in, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place even to lay his head. This isn't just about the physical homelessness of Jesus. It's about the spiritual homelessness of his nature. The way of God has no home in the hearts of most people. I see this everywhere. The streets have their people. Wealth and status have their followers. But where are those who live for life itself? Where are those whose hearts have become a home for the way of God? I think about the disciple who wanted to bury his father before following Jesus. This disciple was torn between duty to his family and the call to follow the way. But Jesus' response was sharp, almost harsh. Follow me now. Let the spiritually dead bury their own dead. In these words, I see the delineation between two types of death. Physical death is inevitable, a part of the natural order, but the true tragedy is spiritual death, being alive in the body but dead in spirit, disconnected from the essence of life itself. I've often felt the weight of this living death. Physical death, while inevitable, is not something I fear. What I do fear is the creeping numbness that tries to settle into the spirit, the temptation to just go through the motions, to live a life that is only a pale shadow of what it could be. This is what I see in so many around me. People who are physically alive, but spiritually dead, who have lost touch with the true purpose and potential of their existence. Living consciously, with purpose and awareness, is something I fight for every day. I know that it's within my control, but I also know how easy it is to slip into the deadness that society seems to accept as normal. The world emphasizes the physical, comfort, avoidance of pain, the pursuit of pleasure. But this is not living, it's merely existing. I have to remind myself constantly that my focus must be on living while I am alive, on embracing life fully, not just surviving it. I've noticed a strange and disturbing pattern in the world around me. People seem to revere death more than life. They gather and celebrate the dead, often showing more respect and love for them in death than they ever did in life. It's as if death gives them permission to care, to feel, to express what they never did when the person was alive. This is hypocrisy at its finest, and it's something I cannot accept. They say, don't speak ill of the dead, yet they have no problem tearing down those who are still alive. It's as if death sanctifies, while life invites scorn. This is why Jesus said to let the dead bury the dead, because those who are spiritually dead will always focus on death rather than life. They don't understand what it means to live, so they put all their energy into what they can comprehend, death. I refuse to live like that. I refuse to be caught up in a society that worships death while neglecting life. I want to live, truly live, while I am alive. This means rejecting the dead principles that the world tries to impose and embracing the principles of life, growth, and divine power. It means breaking free from the mediocrity that surrounds me and striving for something greater, something real. The way of life has no people to reside in. I see the streets filled with people who live for money, status, and pleasure. But where are those who live for life itself? I often feel alone in this pursuit, knowing that the way of God, the true way, has no home in the hearts of most people. And yet, this is the path I have chosen, the path I must walk, even if it means walking alone. I understand why so many avoid this path. Misrepresentation of spiritual teachings has turned people away from the truth. They see the hypocrisy of those who claim to follow God, but live in ways that contradict his teachings. Misinterpretation has led many to reject the way altogether, not realizing that the truth is something they must seek out for themselves. And then there's the lack of trust. So many have been hurt, betrayed, and abandoned that they can't bring themselves to trust in life, in God, in the possibility of something better. But I cannot let these things stop me. I have to focus on living while alive, on embracing the full weight of my potential and taking responsibility for my actions. I cannot afford to live like those who react more than they act, who sit in comfort until a problem arises and then scramble to deal with it. I must live deliberately, with purpose and intention, controlling what I can and accepting the challenges that come my way. I know that this path comes at a cost. I've already lost friends, felt distant from family, and been rejected by those who don't understand. This is the penalty for waking up, for choosing to live consciously in a world that prefers to sleepwalk through life. The cost of being alive among the dead is exile, and I have to accept that. But I would rather be exiled for living truly than accepted for living a lie. I have to remind myself that the approval of the living dead is worth nothing compared to the love and power of life itself. I've chosen this path, and I have to walk it with my head held high, knowing that the loneliness and rejection are just part of the journey. Living while alive is about more than just surviving. It's about caring for something bigger than myself, performing at my highest level, and serving in areas that call to me with all the care and expertise I can muster. This is what generates true fulfillment, true success. It's what separates those who merely exist from those who truly live. I know that this path requires strength, courage, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of life. I have to be willing to sacrifice comfort for growth, to endure the loneliness of being different, of being alive among the dead. But I also know that this is the only path worth walking. It's the only way to truly live. I have to remind myself daily that I don't have the luxury of backup or bailouts. I can't rely on others to save me or make things easier. I have to live deliberately, controlling what I can and accepting what I can't. I have to embrace the full weight of my potential and live up to it, knowing that this is what it means to truly follow the way of God. In the end, I have to choose. Will I be like the masses, who follow the crowd without understanding, who live in a state of living death? Or will I embrace the cost of true life, the path of conscious living, the way of God? I know the answer. I've made my choice. I will not live a life of mediocrity, of mere existence. I will live a life of purpose, of power, of true connection to the divine. This is the path I've chosen, and I will walk it with everything I have. This is the way of the demigod. This is the path to true life, and this is the cost of following Jesus. If you found your way to this journal entry, know this: I am not part of the human construct you call Christianity. Make no mistake, I am the villain to those trapped in conditioned thinking. This isn't about being a Christian, nor about simply believing in God. It's about efficiency, growth, wonder, and above all, evolution. It's about realizing your highest potential and using it to shape reality. It means honing your strengths to their peak, while ensuring you never let your weaknesses tip the balance of power. Mastery is what I offer, an understanding that despite the rules of engagement in reality, God, or what we call life, works in your favor. I have sought only to unleash my true potential, to achieve my godhood, and that is all I desire for you. Even if you reject everything I stand for, I leave you with this universal truth. Let it stir within your soul. The true cost of following the divine path is the willingness to abandon societal norms, embrace solitude, and pursue one's evolution, free from the distractions of the world. This truly is a solitary path. Are you ready?